guys, and welcome back to another video. So today, for today's sketchbook session is what I'm going to say, is that we are going to be doing some like smaller doodles. So as I'm setting up my sketchbook, I am running closer to the end. So I did put some sticky notes or post-it notes underneath to hopefully bridge the gap to make my sketchbook completely flushed. And we'll move on to our sketching materials. So today I am going to be using my palette Color ENO in the color red for some softer sketching. And then I'm pulling out 2 alcohol markers from Arrtx to do some of the colors. And then we have my Energel Clena to do some lines. So the one that I actually showed you, the Energel Clena that's in like the blue body, is not the one that we are going to be using, but it's pretty much the same. I'll explain a little bit later once we get to the inking process though. So I technically wanted to do like really small little doodles to plan out some new planner stickers because that's been just on my brain as of recently, but I ended up just doing like semi-small-ish doodles of my OCs. So we're just gonna run through all of my OCs and then I'll do 2 little extra ones at the very end to fill up the rest of the spread. But I just wanted to draw some cute little chibis, and we're gonna keep it nice and simple by using only 2 colors. And it just makes it a little bit easier if I'm sketching in like a not super strong color. So in this case, I'm using red. Either or, like red or blue would have worked, since we are going to be using kind of like a soft pink and a fairly soft blue as well. So either or, the lines will cover up pretty well, and we'll be using ink over them so the lines won't stand out too much from our little like scribbling, I guess. I've tested a lot of my alcohol markers with the ink that I use in my Energel Clenas, and they never really do smudge all that much, but I still have the habit of whenever I'm doing like sketching or doodling or a lot of traditional medium, I tend to do the line art at the end just as like a precaution of just in case something goes wrong and the ink decides to smear and smudge with whatever I'm placing on top. So I am going to be placing the ink or of like my alcohol markers, or like if I used water-based markers as well, I would do that first. But let's talk about the inking. So the one in the blue barrel actually had my kind of turquoise teal ink, and I wanted something a little bit more bolder. So I went ahead and looked for my one with the greenish barrel and used that one because it has just my black ink. I think I would have worked with dark blue as well, but I actually don't know which pen currently holds that, and I'm not going to be like opening up a new little ink cartridge, I guess, or like the ink replacements for these. I didn't want to open up a new one just to use the color blue, so we're just going to stick with black for today. And oftentimes, like when I'm using these softer colors, it just makes everything stand out if you use like such a bold line, but you can definitely use something more kind of like muted or just of some sort of different value than straight up black, and then you can get like an overall softer look, which could be very cute and like kind of more like muted, pastel, and soft. So unfortunately, the doodle or like little sketch of Masaki that I'm currently doing right now, he's gonna get the weird treatment of being the first drawing of the day. So he's a little derpy. I'm not super confident with like placement of colors, I guess. And then my lines are a little bit like scratchy because I didn't really know exactly how I wanted to approach the line art, if I wanted to go like full contrast and really shade in a lot of things. So I did a little bit of testing here and there, darkening up some lines, thickening up some things, and then, you know, trying to see what would work. And then later on, we'll move on to the rest of the characters. Now, the rest of these will be done fully in time-lapse because I think it's kind of fun to see the entire process. And for Kaisen's little teddy bear, I actually forgot what he looked like, so I will often switch back and forth by looking in my sketchbook. Later on, I'll pull him up on my computer because I wanted to actually make sure I'm drawing the little bear correctly. So technically, the way how I approached all of the drawings for today, I don't think they'll work for planner stickers that I wanted to do. For those ones, I'll put an example on the screen because that's kind of like the size and the scale and kind of like the theming-ish that I wanted to go with is kind of represented in that one, versus these ones will look cuter as like maybe individual die cut stickers or something like that. Also, I almost misspelled stretch. I was trying to center the word stretch on the bear and Kaisen, but because of that, I accidentally almost skipped a letter and put like the H right next to the T, which would have been wrong. But for future stickers. I would like to do another attempt of doing another set of just planner stickers similar to the Masaki Kaisen one, which I showed you earlier in the video, hopefully. And the reason being is that hopefully in July, I will have time to actually open up Patreon, and I want to do like legit just a small little sticker club. I don't think I'm gonna have any other tiers. I think there's going to be 2 tiers. So one will be just purely a planner sticker sheet of some sort every month, along with probably a special little die cut sticker. I haven't decided quite yet on the price because I would like to cater it towards Canada and international, probably just because the postage is a little bit different, or I might do Canada, US, and international. And then one other tier, which might include like an OC postcard. But the Patreon will be purely just for OC content. So anything that's like fan art based will be just up on my normal store at some point, or at like conventions and stuff. Or maybe I will put out a template or something for people. You can print it out for free. I don't know yet. But if you want to have like OC stickers from me of my OCs, then please look forward to that. Eventually, when I do end up doing like a store update, I'm planning to do like maybe 2 store updates per year, as long as the tariffs don't get a little bit too crazy. And the reason being is that every so often I will be putting all those Patreon stickers up on the store, but they're just not going to be available for like quite a while. So if you want to have monthly stickers, planner stickers, or like a monthly OC postcard from myself, then yeah, that's where I'm going to be having it. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that, because I've been enjoying making stickers of like all sorts. So I will kind of like cater it towards any size sticker sheet. So I've been leaning towards doing like, I think it's 2.75 by 4.25 is one format. So it's like a very long, thin one with many smaller stickers. And I might play around with like a few manufacturers if I want to do some like clear ones, because I really like the clear look for like tiny little planner stickers, just because the clear just works on a lot of like surfaces where you don't have to worry about having too much going on with like a white border being so like blatant in your face. But I can't do that myself, because I would like the character or the object that's actually the sticker but doesn't have the transparency to still have like white ink below it so that it's not see-through, and none of my printers can do that. I think you need like a sublimation printer maybe, or at least I think sublimation printers can do white ink. I'm not too sure. I briefly looked into it because I wanted to see whether or not I would be able to make, like desk mats, mugs. I forget what's the other thing, but there's like a few things you can work with if a sublimation printer, but they're, oh boy, they're very pricey, and like the ink is probably also very pricey. So it's gonna be something in the long future, that or I'll just stick with like a manufacturer and keep it at a minimum for the most part. So moving along from Kaisen and Kumabon, which is the bear, I ended up drawing Akemi next. And the whole point of like when I draw my chibis, typically, especially if I want to keep them like tiny and bite-sized, I like drawing them with like larger objects that they can interact with, just to emphasize their tininess. So in this case, I drew Akemi with like a little fountain pen of some sort, so it looks like he's scribbling on a small little piece of paper or something like that. Also, I apologize. Ever since I've moved to this new studio space, or this room, I guess, I've been having an issue. I don't know if it's the cord for my camera, or it's like the port that I keep plugging it into, or my desktop or whatever. But every so often you kind of see like a horizontal band that goes across the screen that looks almost like a glitch every so often, which is why I'm gonna try to prevent myself from doing too many time-lapse videos, because they become very apparent unless I find every single one and cut them out. But hopefully it doesn't bother too many people. If it does, then I'll try my best to see if I can replace the cord or something else for my camera, because I think that's probably the case. I've already swapped 3 different ports, so I don't want to think that it's just my camera and my desktop suddenly became incompatible at some point. But yeah, that's besides the point. But next up is my OC Sato. The funny thing, out of all of my OCs, I actually had to look up references for Kaisen. For some reason, I forget which part of his bangs go in front of another. Everyone else I had pretty much an okay time drawing, and I didn't really need to refer back to what they look like. But Kaisen's hair, I needed to look back because I don't think I've drawn him recently, or I've accidentally like swapped his bangs which way or the other before, and I've gotten used to a different one again, so who knows. But like I said, I think these ones would be very cute as like little die cut stickers, so I'll probably translate a few of them to make into like actual stickers, but then maybe in a different... Actually, I was thinking of maybe doing like a mini studio vlog. So initially when I did the vlogs for Otafest, like a convention vlog, those ones were very much just heavily based on printing and cutting and then drawing for the most part, because I didn't get a lot of like convention footage. But a lot of you expressed that you did like the format, so I would like to continue doing vlogs every so often, but they'll be more like studio vlogs, so it's not going to be a lot of me probably traveling around or anything. It'll just be me in my studio. I'll talk through like certain projects and show you a lot of the behind the scenes probably, but because they're going to be sporadic due to the fact that I probably won't post the video or the vlog until said project is closer to being finished, if I end up finishing the project in that vlog, if that makes sense. So like if I finish a sticker sheet but that sticker sheet is not ready to be put out, let's say it's for Patreon in the future, I don't want to accidentally spoil it, so I probably won't release it until after that has been fully released. But talking a little bit more about who I'm doodling next, we have my OC Cooji. I just wanted him to be like super hyped. So we have like hooray in the background and him just like kind of cheering, a little bit of confetti here and there. I think it just kind of looked a little cute for him. So that is what I ended up doing for Cooji. I think I've talked about this too, so maybe I'll do it for a video if I can find a way how I want to record the entire process, because I think it'll be a fairly long project for myself. But I wanted to do like a kind of like an OC intro video or GIF of some sort and kind of like animate it via live 2D. So my plan is to do like maybe half body models for all of my OCs, to do like a mini kind of like section where they kind of like breathe and move a little bit as they slide on screen. But I also wanted to do like a sequence of them going in kind of like an arch formation, starting from the right going left and doing like a hooray and going across as a cute little, I don't know, like one at a time crossing the screen. And I think it would be cute if I could use that as like little stingers for my stream, or just using for like an intro outro type thing. Just kind of cute. But also last time I streamed, I realized a little bit too late that I have not made any types of GIFs or animations for my OC Cooji. I've made one for Moriko, Kaisen has a few, Masaki has a lot, even Akemi has like one or two I think, and then Sato has at least, I think she has one. So I would like to do something for Cooji in the future as well, whether or not it'll be part of like that OC intro type of thing. Once I figure out how exactly I want to format it, I think it'd just be kind of cute. I don't want to do it like anime opening kind of thing, but just like as a small like introduction to each of them, I think would be a cute idea to have as like at least like a video format, that or just like a GIF at some sort. But next up we have Moriko. So Moriko, I kind of wanted to do like a down view of her, her looking up kind of to the sky. I did not really know exactly what I wanted her to be sitting on, so I just put like a mini little railing. But I kind of want to revisit doing more doodles like this again. So for some reason, the month of June is going to be still like a weird month for myself, just because, how do I explain this? I don't know if you're like are kind of like the type of person similar to me where if you have something planned that's like not immediate, so it's like in the future but it's like in the short-term future, if that makes sense. So in my case, mine will be closer to the end of the month, and I have something at the end of this week as well, like on this upcoming Friday. I always feel a little bit too pressed for time, or like I don't know how to explain it, because like you're dreading it. Sometimes I feel less motivated to do certain things until that event or that deadline or that thing is like gotten over with. I think it comes with my anxiety before, like back in like uni and high school, where if you knew you had to present, I tried my best to always to present first or in the first half, like within the first 3 people, so that I don't have this weird feeling of impending doom all the time leading up to said event or like whatever I am kind of low-key dreading. Now, for me, right now. I feel like that's the case for the month of June. Too many things have been like popping up sporadically, and I'm a type of person who likes to plan things low-key in advance to the point where I know I have like a set certain amount of time. But then right now, because I have two things I know that are going to happen for sure, and then I have a feeling that there is going to be some things that are going to come up kind of sporadically in between. I just feel like it keeps throwing off my schedule a lot. So I haven't been sketching in my sketchbook, so I've been working on other things. So unfortunately, I don't really get to play around and doodle silly little things like this as much as I would like to. But hopefully I'm going to change that. I'm going to change my mindset a little bit so that I can sketch freely in my sketchbook without feeling like I'm tight on a deadline and I can't allow myself that freedom again, because just looking at the spread makes me so happy. I don't know if it's the colors or because I think my OCs are cute or something. We'll see. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me talking about nothing at this point. But I don't know. I don't know exactly where that feeling comes from, but it happens quite often, especially this year. But I think 2025 has just been a very wonky, weird year. But I'm sure the second half of 2025 is going to be less eventful for myself, so I can give myself a little bit more time to experiment and play around a little bit more carefreely instead of having things that need to be finished constantly. In this case, like even after I finish doing this voice recording and just like finishing up the editing and uploading it, I have to go do something else like right after. And right now it's like 8 p.m. So it feels like the day is already over, yet I have one more thing to do, and that thing is not like something I can take a break from, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not really like complaining. Hopefully that's not coming off that way. I'm low-key like processing it in my brain why I think this way and why I haven't really been allowing myself to sketch in my sketchbook as often as I would like to, because now that I think about it, I think we're into about half a year of having the sketchbook, and typically I would be done a sketchbook at this time, and I would like to move on at some point, but I know I have like so many pages and I don't really want to like rush through it just to finish the sketchbook and move on to a different one. Usually that happens within like the last 10 pages, but I definitely have a lot more than that, so I know it's not going to be anytime soon. But that's kind of like besides the point. The last two little doodles that I ended up doing is Masaki sleeping in a bunch of clovers and then a little sad kaisen at the very end, because they're the two that I feel like I sketched the most easily out of all my OCs, despite not remembering how Kaisen's hair was at some point. But they're just the little ones that I like to draw the most because I think they're cute and funny. So yeah. But here's a close-up of all of the little sketches and doodles that I ended up doing today. Like I said, this color combination is like one of my favorite, and I just love using it, and also just puts me in a better mood. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to do a few more. Oh, also, I made a mistake. So I ended up putting sticker paper on this side of the paper instead. Like I missed a whole spread. So I had 2 sets of sticker paper pieces already stuck in my sketchbook by accident. But yeah, here's the little final spread, and hopefully you guys don't mind my rambling today. And I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye! Let's hit my hand on my desk. Bye!